It is the Lions this summer, and that means that these Six Nations are the final trials. Who's playing well? Who's beaten a contender from another nation? Well, on Sunday, the Irish probables played the Scottish possibles, and well, they lived up to those name tags with Ireland romping home and doing some damage to the Scottish Lions' chances. In this video, I'll give you my Lions 15. That's right, just the 15, not the full squad, not everything else. And it's going to be based solely on performances over the first 2 weeks of this year's Six Nations. Okay, let's start with a loosehead spot. Going into the tournament, it sounded like it was going to be between Genge, Schumann and Porter, but things have changed a little, I'd say. Ellis Genge is playing well. He's given away a couple of penalties at scrum time, but he's also scrummed very well at times as well, particularly against Antonio last week against France, and he's shown up really well with the loose, one of England's primary carriers, so he's definitely in the mix. Schumann has been a little quiet, I would say, and even lost his starting berth to Rory Sutherland, who played pretty well against Ireland. And the surprise packages are the Welsh pair of Nicky Smith, but especially Gareth Thomas, who I think his tackling is outstanding, probably the best loosehead tackler in the Six Nations, in the Lions possibles. So they're all contenders as far as I'm concerned at the moment, but without doubt, Porter is playing the best out of all of them. His scrummaging is very consistent. He absolutely went through Ferguson at the weekend, and he's showing up in the loose. He's doing a ton of work, as he always does, and I think currently, Andrew Porter is my loosehead for the Lions. Into the hooker berth, Ronan Kelleher has been really solid for Ireland. I just think he's a quality player all round, always performs to a really high level. I think you look at Lions, you think maybe we need a bit of experience in there, and I think Jamie George, what he brought off the bench for England, really impressed. But I think Luke Cowan-Dickey's been a really solid performer as well. Maybe his line-out throw-ins not quite up to scratch at the moment. Ewan Ashman off the bench for Scotland as well. They're working hard on their finishes there as being the sort of the real game winners. I think he's shown up quite well. But Dan Sheehan, his performance off the bench against England wins the hooker's shirt, hands down. He was so good that it blew everybody away. So Dan Sheehan is definitely the Lions hooker for me in my selection. However, his line-out throwing hasn't been that great either. And when we come to talk about the second rows, the Lions might struggle in the line-out. We'll see. Into tight head. And for me, this is between Ferguson, Bealham and Stewart. I think Ferguson would have been my favourite coming into this tournament, but he's got beaten up by Andrew Porter last week. He came back strong in the second half, to be fair, and returned fire. But I think that's a little bit damaging for him. Finlay Bealham has been playing really well. He's so low and so technical with his scrummaging, and he does a ton of work around the park as well. I'm a big fan of Finlay Bealham, but I'm a bigger fan of Will Stewart. I think he's playing the best rugby of his life. His scrummaging, super consistent now. Like, he's not destroying packs, but he's absolutely rock solid for England. And he also, another prop that does a ton of work around the park. He's not the type of player that stands out with his ball carrying, although sometimes, he's scored a brace of tries against the All Blacks once. Not many props do that. But I just think hard-working, big unit, solid in the scrum. Right now, Will Stewart's my tight head. The number 4 jersey, and actually, looking across the nations, the second rows aren't... I don't think it's a golden generation of second rows that we're going through at the moment, but there are a couple of outstanding ones. In the number 4 jersey, I'm looking at James Ryan from Ireland. He's looking back to his physical best. Daft Jenkins for Wales, the first Welsh... Oh, no, not the first Welsh thing. I mentioned some props as well. Daft Jenkins for Wales. I think his work rate in that first game, the amount of tackles he put in against France, he's pretty inspirational and effective as well. But the number 4 jersey goes to Maro Itoje. He is niggly best at the moment. He seems to have just about got a hold of his discipline. There was one stupid penalty against the French, which... is annoying. That's something he used to do all the time, but he's generally much better. He's playing well. I think captaincy suits him. I think that sort of elevates him even more. Obviously, an absolute nose at the breakdown, but England's line-out's not that great. So again, for the Lions, that could be an issue. But Itoje gets the 4 jersey. Into number 5, the other second row place. And I was super impressed with Ollie Chesham off the bench in that jersey for England at the weekend against France. Taking over from George Martin, who's done okay, but he's also been a little bit quiet and not the same lineup forward. If we're going to choose one of those two, I think, based on the rest of how this team's shaping up, we'll go with Chesham. But my choice is actually Tadhg Beirne for Ireland. Just an absolute machine of a player. So good at the breakdown. Scoring tries. Just picks his moments. Like he's a fantastic all-round rugby player, and to have one of those in the second row is an absolute luxury. So Tadhg Beirne, one of my favourite rugby players around at the moment. Into the back row, and oh my, things get really competitive now, because whereas through the second row, maybe you'd say the front row as well, I don't think there's that many players on top form. That can't be said of the back row. There's a lot of players playing well in the back row. Number 6 jersey. I love Matt Fagerson at Scotland. I think he is a classic number 6. Just aggressive, just physical. You know, he hits people with or without the ball. And I just think he's a really good number 6. For Ireland, I'm going to go with neither of the people that actually wore the number 6 jersey. I'm going to go with Conan, who came off the bench. I think he's been outstanding. Carrying the ball through the line, scoring tries, work at the breakdown and the line out, outstanding. He's been a brilliant player in this Six Nations, and his impact off the bench has been wild. But I'm going to give it to Tom Curry, another Test Lion, along with Conan, by the way. Conan looks like he's back to his Test Lion best, but so is Tom Curry, and I think his work, just his energy, the amount of work that he's got through 2 full games has been out of this world. He is playing so well at the moment. Number 6, Tom Curry. Now, probably the hardest shirt to decide in the entire team now is the 7 jersey, because there are a ton of people playing really well. You have got Jack Morgan for Wales, Ben Curry and Ben Earl both playing really well for England, Josh van der Fleer for Ireland, and Rory Darge. Darge, I think, has been Scotland's man of the match in both of their games. The amount of work he's got through has been incredible. Josh van der Fleer is a machine. He never stops. Ben Earl's carrying has been really impressive, especially against France in that 7 jersey on Saturday. And Ben Curry was brilliant as well in the first game. I thought, such incredible work rate. But I'm going to go with Jack Morgan to do what he's been doing in a team that's got no spirit and no togetherness and no, they feel like they're not believing in themselves. For him to stand out as well as he has done, I think that shows the qualities of the man. And I think if you put him in a Lions jersey, he would show it even more. Number 7, Jack Morgan. Into number 8. And I thought Jack Dempsey was really good for Scotland on Sunday. Showed up really well, some good carrying. He's a classy player. I thought Faletau for Wales, after such a long time out, was really good as well against Italy. Always offering himself, a classy operator. Anthony Watson thinks he might well tour this summer with the Lions, just because he's a different kind of number 8 to the others. But there's no question in my mind, number 8 in this team is definitely Caelan Doris. No question. He is in top form. He carries the ball so hard. He's so smart around the breakdown. An absolute nose for turnovers. Caelan Doris, tipped to be captain as well. Easy choice really at number 8. Into the scrum halves. And Thomas Williams has been playing so well for Gloucester, and he's certainly not let Wales down, but he's not playing like you'd normally see Thomas Williams playing. He's not doing his snipes. He's just standing and passing. Mitchell, I think, was really good for England, especially against France. Just constantly in, getting that ball away, helping England play with a bit of rhythm at last. Defensively a bit weak though, let's be honest. But again, this is an easy choice. Jemison Gibson Park, absolutely incredible. Just both sides of the ball as well, His decision making on which pass to pick, it's almost perfect. He almost always picks exactly the right pass and puts it right on the money. His running game's good, kicking game's good, but his defensive work as well has been outstanding. That tackle to get Kinghorn on Sunday, he had to sprint for like 40 or 50 metres and read it really early. That's the most important thing. He read what was going to happen really early. Got back to make that tackle. Jemison Gibson Park in the scrum half jersey for me. Okay, fly half. And this is another tough one. We got Smith or Smith for England. I think Margus did okay. I think he did pretty well against Ireland. I think Finn Smith did better against France. You got Prendergast and Crowley from Ireland. I thought Crowley was outstanding for the 20-25 minutes he played against England, but I've been really impressed with Prendergast as well. And then, of course, everybody's number one favourite for this jersey, Finn Russell. But he hasn't been playing well. He's had his moments where things have come off, but really, across a game and whatever it was, 20-25 minutes, he's well below his best. So I'm not going to be picking him. I don't think, based on these two games, I don't think Russell gets in. So who does? Hard to pick Crowley after 20-25 minutes. Smith and Smith only played a game each and neither were 100% convincing. I'm going for Sam Prendergast. I thought he was really good, especially this weekend, passed against Scotland. Quality of his passing, quality of his kicking. Apparently he kicked the longest kick in the tournament so far against Scotland at the weekend. So Sam Prendergast gets the number 10 jersey for me. Left wing, number 11. And this is a straight shootout between Van der Merwe and James Lowe. Doohan's played well. I think he's played really well. I thought he's one of the few Scottish players who really showed up on Sunday. He was always offering himself for the ball, got involved as much as he could. But James Lowe's been on fire, scoring tries, creating tries for others, kicking, just everything. He's been absolutely brilliant. So as well as Doohan van der Merwe's been playing, that left wing slot goes to James Lowe for me. Inside centre. This is another quite easy one, I think. Based on these two games that we've seen. Slade's been okay for England. He's better than he has been in sort of like during the autumn for sure. I think Tom Jordan's been Scotland's best 12 so far this tournament, although he's obviously ended up playing a lot of time at 10. But this is Bundee Aki, no question whatsoever. He's playing really well. The try against England was inspirational, and it just, again, both sides of the ball is a nuisance. He helps other people play as well. So a real facilitator. Bundee Aki in the 12 jersey. Outside centre, and Ringrose has done okay. Henshaw's done okay. Ollie Lawrence again, similar to Slade, he's playing better. And he's been England's best player in a couple of games, certainly at times anyway. But I'm going to go for Hugh Jones. I just think the hat-trick against Italy, I think his classy running lines, he was the one that split Ireland apart, which led to Kinghorn almost scoring before Gibson Park tackled him. Yeah, Scotland didn't have a lot of ball, so he didn't really show up a huge amount on Sunday, but I still think he's been the highest quality outside centre out of the potential Lions this tournament. Number 13, Hugh Jones. On to the right wing, we've got Mac Hansen. Mac Hansen's one of my favourite rugby players in the world. I just love the way he plays. He's classy. He can run and pass for a winger. He can create, but he can also finish and do all the kick chase and all that stuff as well. I think he's brilliant. Darcy Graham has been a live wire for Scotland, but I am going to go with Tommy Freeman for England. I think we had a quiet autumn, but he's looking back to his best. He wanted the ball constantly against France. He gets up in the air. He wins the ball back for you as well. And I think in high-tension test matches, he's the man to do that for the British Lions. Right wing, Tommy Freeman. Okay, into fullback. And we talked about possibles versus probables and how these players playing against each other can really stake a claim for that jersey. And I think most people would have said the 15 jersey was a toss-up between Blair Kinghorn and Hugo Keenan coming into this tournament. But Scotland's travails on Sunday, Kinghorn did okay, but he didn't have the best game. He didn't look quite as quick as I remembered him being, or maybe Gibson Park's quicker than I thought he was. I'm not sure. But anyway, I would say Hugo Keenan definitely got the wood over him. And Keenan's ability in the air, particularly, I thought showed up well against England. He's just so creative as well. The catch and pass for James Lowe's try against Scotland. He's an outstanding rugby player, so understated and underrated as well. I still believe he is. Okay, so that's it. That's my 15. Based on the first 2 weeks of the Six Nations, Porter, Sheehan and Stewart, Itoje, Byrne, Tom Curry, Jack Morgan, Caelan Doris, Gibson Park and Prendergast, Aki and Jones in the centres, Lowe and Freeman on the wings, and Keenan at fullback. What do you think? Do you think that's right? Do you think that's correct? Do you think it will still be the same at the end of the tournament? Because I'm going to do a review of this as we go through and see who's going up the ratings and who's going down. Let me know in the comments down below and we can have a good old chinwag about it as we look forward to the Lions this summer. Give this video a thumbs up while you're down there if you don't mind. It helps other people find it, and you can subscribe there. You can watch that one next, and don't forget to get out and play.